It was always the Jags. It's always the Jags. It's always the Jags.
Always the Jags.
Welcome into Always the Jags, your number one podcast for all things Jacksonville, all things Jaguars. And today, we're going to add a couple more teams to the fray. So today, I'm going to be doing my first live mock draft. So as you guys know, we are heavily in mock draft season. You see articles, you see videos, podcasts. Everybody's talking mock draft right now because that's quite literally the only thing to talk about. So I brought along two friends of mine, my good friend Manny and my good friend Brian. Why don't you guys say hi to everybody?
What's up, Will? Hey, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man. Glad to be here.
Of course. Glad to have you guys. So originally we were going to do an AFC South round table, for this draft. But as it turns out, the other teams in the AFC South just didn't have enough fans for me to get people together. I guess, I don't know, Colts, Titans, Texans fans. I don't know where you guys are at. I couldn't find any. So obviously I had plenty of Jaguars fans I could have turned to. But to get some variety, I got a Saints fan. And I got another Saints fan who graciously also wants to draft for the Bills. So our good friend Manny's all decked out in his Saints gear. With his LSU gear. Sorry, LSU gear. My company would be proud with the LSU Jaguars rep. And that's a Bills hat, right, Brian? That's a Bills hat.
No, I also like the Blue Jays.
Okay. It looks like you could just play it off. So
correct.
I guess
I thought it was Bill's hat too.
All right, so we're all queued up and we're ready to draft. Before we go in, you don't necessarily have to draft your strategy, but if you want to, just a couple of sentences, drop like what you think that you're going to be looking for in the draft and what you think your team really needs to beef up in order to have success next season. So like for the Jaguars, I'm going to be looking for designated edge rusher. I'm going to be looking for some interior pass rush from the defensive tackle position. And I'm probably going to need to get some depth at my offensive line. Might want to replace linebacker as well with Devin Lloyd being out. Or we're losing Devin Lloyd to free agency. And then a couple of other depth pieces, maybe a backup tight end and things like that. But mainly, I'm looking at the edge and interior pressure and a designated pass rusher and then some depth pieces. So Manny, what do you think you're going to be looking for the Saints?
Quarterback. No, I'm joking. I don't think that there's going to be a quarterback on the board worth getting by the time the Saints pick. So I think we need to get we pretty much got to set up for the future. So an OT to protect the future quarterback, whether it's the one we have now or one from a future draft. And then we need to beef up our cornerbacks. And then also some Russian, some edge guys in there.
Edge guy. Did you guys end up keeping Cameron Jordan, or is he still a free agent?
I believe he's still a free agent. I don't think he's signed with anywhere else.
Okay, interesting. So I guess the first question would be, since you're a fellow Saints fan, do you agree with what Manny said Saints are looking for in the draft? And then you can go into who you're going to be looking for with the Bills.
Yes, I like to set up for the future. I don't think we need a quarterback. Last year, I was very much opposed to Tyler Chuck. He's grown on me. He looks like he's the quarterback of the future. But everything else, I'm good with Manny.
All right. Sounds good. And what are you looking for the Bills?
As a huge Buffalo Bills fan, Josh Allen, I think first we need a wide receiver one, right? I think that's something the Buffalo should look at. Also, edge rushing. We need some. Von Miller in the past has been great. We didn't have him pretty much last year, so we could use edge rushing for sure. And can you go wrong with corner? I mean, you remember the playoff game last year. So we go corner? That's what I'm looking for.
Okay. All right. So now you know exactly who each of our teams are looking for. I'm going to go ahead and throw the mock draft up on the screen. Let's go ahead and do this 2026 mock draft. Now, all the other teams are going to be on auto pick, and so they're going to be drafting pretty quickly, so we won't have time to comment on like who goes first, but more than likely Fernando Mendoza is going to be off the board number 1 with the Raiders. Of course he was. So coming up first is likely going to be Manny. You have 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Jeremiah. No, just joking. The Falcons are offering me a trade. No way.
Not taking it?
Why not taking it? Why not? Ooh, San Fran offering me pick 27 and a 27. No, can't do it.
Can't do it. All right,
Bring him
interesting.
back
Number
home.
one wide receiver is going for Denzel Boston. So, man, you can tell us a little bit why you took Francis in the first round as you make your second round pick as well.
Yeah, he's a promising protection for our future quarterback, whether it's Tyler or someone else. With my next pick, I'm not very familiar with D'Angelo Pons, but he is the top cornerback option available, and we do need some help in that. But I'm going to go with TJ Parker, edge from Clemson.
Okay. A lot of people like him. Man, y'all both got to pick before I even get to go once. It's crazy. Oh, no. Well, I guess the Bills didn't get to go. Okay. So now the Jaguars are finally on the board. I see D'Angelo Pons. I really liked Traden Stukes. I would have drafted him if we didn't end up re-signing Monteric Brown. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take Grayson Halton, the defensive tackle out of Oklahoma. I think he's got there's a lot of run stuffing defensive tackles, but there's very few that can really get that interior pocket pressure. I think Grayson Halton is one of them, and picking him up at 56 is going to be great value for us.
Okay, I'm back on the board. I was looking for Concepcion, but I don't see.
Is that a cornerback?
That is a wide receiver.
Wide receiver?
But actually, if he's not available, my next one was going to be Avion Terrell, which I don't see.
Oh, he got taken by the Chiefs at number
He did
40.
get taken. Okay.
I saw him.
So I'm assuming Concepcion got taken as well then. And I'm only being given 11 seconds. So is CJ Allen still available? No.
Is he going to make it?
We'll take whoever they give us.
Just saying, try it. That'll work out.
Yeah.
This trade, I'm actually going to accept. I wouldn't mind trading back 2 spots where I'm at in exchange for 245. Yeah, that works in my favor. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and reject that one. So now where am I at? Okay, so I still want to beef up my edge room, and I really want a designated pass rusher. But I don't see the guys that I want are not quite up here. Looks like a lot of them are already taken. I'd be targeting like a Malachi Lawrence. Oh yeah, Mason Thomas. He went up here at 72. Figured he was going to go a little bit earlier. And a lot of these guys, they're not exactly what I'm looking for. So let me check, because I do want to replace Devin Lloyd. Let me take a look at the linebackers. I like Deontay Lawson. And I also like Kyle Lewis. Both of those guys are pretty good. Tough choices. And how many picks do I have left? 100 and 124. Okay. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be considered a little bit of a reach, but my favorite tight end in the draft is actually Dalen Bentley, the tight end out of Utah. So, actually, instead of taking him, hopefully he'll still be there. Don't take my picks, guys. But I'm going to take Romello Height, the edge out of Texas Tech, because he's a very good designated pass rusher, and that's what we're going to be looking for. And just like that, I'm up once again because the genius James Gladstone got us 3 third-round picks this year. So we really have a chance to build out our depth and get some sleepers. So here, again, probably seems like a bit of a reach depending on the board that you're looking at. But if you see this kid block, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you'll see why I want him to back up Bretton Strange on our team. So I'm going to check one more thing to see if there's a defensive tackle that I really like that I could get. But not out of these guys. So let me go ahead and get my guy, Dalen Bentley, right here at 88.
Will Lee, really liked him. SEC guy, kind of have a bias there. Big corner, 6'3.5". Really matched up against a lot of great wide receivers from LSU, Alabama, across the board. A&M had a good defense. I feel like he was going to be a big fit. Trey White kind of let us down in the playoff game. He's up in age. I think he'd be a great fit for Buffalo. Should be exciting.
Hey, that was my next defensive guy. Good pick. Great
Next
pick.
defensive guy? Okay.
Oh, I think my guy got picked up. Oh.
We're going to take Deontay Lawson?
No, Zachariah Branch.
Oh, that's tough. So
him. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. Deontay Lawson is a guy that I would have been okay taking. because he's got a lot of those coverage instincts that you want in a linebacker that Devin Lloyd had. But I'm okay taking Kyle Lewis because Kyle Lewis has been regarded as one of the best coverage linebackers in the draft. And we don't really need a run defending linebacker because we've already got that in Foye Oluokun and Ventrell Miller. I think Kyle Lewis will be able to step in and compete and maybe even take over and have that same impact that Devin Lloyd had. Now I'm waiting to hope that my guy is still here at 124. And he definitely is. Again, probably seems like a little bit of a reach, but again, it just depends on the board that you're on. I'm going to take Landon Robinson, the defensive tackle out of Navy. This kid is, again, he has that instinct to push the pocket. I think he can compete really well with Grayson Halton, and hopefully one of them ends up sticking, and if not, both of them will make the roster, and then we'll have some great competition. So now it's the Bills at 126.
Might sound like a reach, but we understand what we have. We lack big plays.
Okay.
I'm going to get him before another GM realizes what this guy can do. We're going to go Barion Brown, the speedster out of LSU.
2 wide receivers for the Bills. Okay, so you weren't kidding when you said wide receiver help.
We need big plays.
Looks like the Big Easy is on the board, but this pick is anything but.
I think we're going to go with a name that I feel like I heard pretty often throughout the season. They didn't have a particularly great year or good year, but I think he's a promising guy to pair next to our current wide receiver 1. So we're going to go with Kendrick Law.
Okay, wide receiver
from Kentucky. And I think we're back on the board.
Back on the board. Saints got some back-to-back 4th-round picks almost.
We're going to go with cornerback Devin Moore. And we're back again.
Saints are back. Man, what was that? 3 picks in a row?
Pick 50.
Manny's going to pick up everybody.
He's looking to build New Orleans into a dynasty.
Yeah, these are all picks for the future.
It's so interesting, though. I do find it interesting how you guys are both very confident in Tyler Shuck. And I do think he showed enough this year to at least give him another year. But it seemed like there was no doubt in your mind that you don't need a quarterback. Like, do you really feel like Tyler Shuck is just the guy of the future, or
I think he's worked. He's done enough to get another year. I don't think it would hurt us to take a quarterback. If I did, based on what's left, I would go with Carson Beck. But we're going to go with defense. We're going to go with Michigan.
That makes me happy. You left my guy on the field. I'm also going to go defense because, again, like I said, I'm really looking to build that designated pass rusher. I'm going to take Max Llewellyn, right? Because right now the Jaguars, on the edge, we are so good against the run. Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen are bookends. But I want to get guys that, even if they're not great against the run, that's okay. I need you to get after the quarterback. So that's what Max Llewellyn and that's what Romello Height both bring. Wish I could have got Mason Thomas. Maybe I could have flipped it around, but, you know, it is what it is. So now we are back on the board with the Jaguars. This pick right here is going to be a little bit different. So now I'm going to kind of start looking towards my depth and see who do I want to draft to kind of build that out since I got that extra 5th round pick from the Panthers. Because we're in the 5th round, right? Yeah. So this is a nice place for me to build up the depth. If I'm not mistaken, I think Inez Cooper has a pretty good profile. I don't know if he's one of those. I think he's worth taking a flyer on. I think he's worth, or was it Jaden Roberts that I liked here? I do think it's Jaden Roberts. So I'm going to take Jaden Roberts here as a developmental guard prospect. Maybe he gets better in the future, maybe not, but either way, it's worth a flyer in the 5th round. Let's see who the Bills are going to take.
Absolutely. If you know, you know. Kieran Crawford, 6'4", Auburn, 9.5 tackles for loss last year. Probably grades out as a 3rd round pick. I'm getting him in the 5th round. It makes up probably for the reach that people think Barion Brown was. But getting our guy in the 5th round, Kieran Crawford, that's who we're going with.
Crawford was another guy that I was looking at as one of those designated pass rushers. It was between him and Max Llewellyn. And because Max was available, I went ahead and took him. But Kieran Crawford is another one of those guys that I was considering. So that's a pretty nice pickup that you got him. Now, I could go 2 different options here. I'm one of the few that doesn't actually think the Jaguars need a running back. I think even though we lost Travis Etienne to the Saints, and you guys take good care of him over there in New Orleans. All right, Manny, you guys take good care of him. All right, I love that guy. So even though we lost him, I'm not one of the people that feels like we need him. I'm actually going to do something very, very different. Oh, is he already gone? What? I was going to take Cole Payton, the quarterback, but I guess he was taken. Oh my gosh, who took him? Okay, I'll have to figure that out later because I'm going to run out of time. Okay, well, never mind for that.
If you did want a running back, you got a good option available.
Kalen Black, like at this point, 120, it's 166. There's no reason not to take him. So even though I do feel like we don't need him, I will go ahead and take Kalen Black because I was gifted an extra 5th rounder by the Panthers. Now let's see who's going up to Buffalo.
We're going to show up that defense again. This time, we're going to go safety. Am I in love with what I have in Hamlin? We re-signed him 1 year. Let's build some insurance there. We're going to go with Michael Taft, Texas.
And it looks like the Saints are finally back on the board.
No, I like Preston Hodge. I liked watching him in Colorado. I don't know if he had enough big games for me to feel like, we can develop him into something. Mm-hmm. So I have no choice but to go with an SEC guy, Dalen Everett from Georgia. Just feel like I have a better chance of developing him into something than Preston just because of it's the SEC.
And we are now in the 6th round. It's crazy. This draft has actually been going by really quickly. So
we're going to stir up the edge again, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of surprised that he's available. I like the SEC as well with Caden Curry, Ohio State, Big Ten. He fits the profile, 6'3", 257. Probably can play the edge linebacker as well. The average grade out was a 5th round pick, so getting him here, I'm okay with that. Maybe we get a boom pick here with him.
All right, another edge player. So you're really focused on skill positions and those edge players. Looks like we're all trying to drill up in the trenches as well. 190. At this point, in the draft, you are kind of building out depth a little bit, seeing who's still out there. Maybe a guy that you had your eye on has slipped through the cracks, but we've only got 2 more rounds left.
I'm going to go with edge from Florida, George Gums, number 19 edge from the in this class, 6'4". Keep buffing up those edge guys. Hopefully we get somebody that's going to replace Cam Jordan if he leaves.
I gotta say, I love how you guys know like all their measurements and like how many tackles for loss they've had and stuff like that. It really makes it sound like I brought on professionals, and I do feel like it did. Thank you for making me look good. Y'all making me look good right now.
This website makes it easy, but you also I'm just thinking about the position and what those guys that are top players look like, and how they're built.
And you want your guys to match that.
Want to replicate that, yeah.
If Jack Endries had continued to fall, I would have grabbed him here. He's that tight end from Texas, I believe. But I don't see him. Let me double check on the tight end section. Yeah, no, I don't really see him. Okay. So someone must have grabbed him, which is very smart. I still really wanted to get a backup quarterback to develop. I don't know if Cade Klubnik is the guy. But I do think I do want to replace Nick Mullins at some point. So I'm going to get Cade Klubnik. Although the guy I was looking for was Cole Payton. But for right now, Cade Klubnik will fit the bill.
Do you guys have any faith in any of the quarterbacks in this draft?
That's a good question.
I mean, those should be good. But he just needs... I think he's going to need a number 1 wide receiver. Like as much as good as Brock Bowers is, we won't see how good Mendoza can really be until they get him a dominant AJ Brown type of.
Don't they have Myers, right? Jacoby Myers, isn't he there?
No, he came to us.
He did. That's right. At the end of the year, yeah. He did.
Us. Yeah. So here, I'm gonna go. This is a player that I consistently take in every mock draft. Sometimes I have to take him in the 6th round. Other times he falls all the way to the 7th. I like CJ Daniels. He's a big, long, acrobatic catch point of attack guy. Got the size like Tim Patrick. I guess the knock on him is he doesn't get a lot of separation. But again, if someone throws a 50-50 ball and with your height and you're able to make it a 70-30 ball, it's okay. You don't need to get separation. You just need to be bigger than the guy that's covering you. So I think that'll make him a great red zone weapon. I guess to close out the draft for the Jaguars, we do need some. Oh, Skylar Thomas, the exact guy that I was looking for. Kind of a special teamer, maybe developmental safety. I think even losing Andrew Thomas, we're pretty good at the Andrew Wingard. We're pretty good at the safety position, but Skylar Thomas will fill that role for us. So the draft board does not like my draft.
What score did it give you?
I got a C.
Oh, I did better than you. Oh, okay.
You did better? All right, let's
C+.
compare scores. Stop sharing, and I'll head back and we'll scale. You got C plus?
I got a C plus.
Yeah, this thing is good.
I got to be minus.
Oh,
minus. All right. Let's throw Manny's on the stage. Manny, start off with Francis. I'm gonna let you try that last name because I still haven't learned how to pronounce it
gave me
yet.
a D minus for that. Wow.
D minus. I'm surprised because he was up. What was he ranked at? Number
He
16?
was the first or second OT.
Okay. They loved you getting TJ Parker. They
Yep.
loved Josiah Trotter. They loved Kendrick Law, Devin Moore, Deshaun. So basically, they're like, this guy just doesn't know how to draft in the first round.
Yeah.
That's their assessment of Manny.
You know what? Instead of that last pick, I would have preferred. I saw him later. Didn't know he was still on the board. It's a long shot, but Pavia from quarterback from Vanderbilt.
Oh, Diego Pavia.
Yep.
Yes.
I think he could come in and compete. Just see what he could do. Yeah.
He has some good tape. I wouldn't be mad if that was the last pick.
I
Yeah, like Diego
being
too.
our future, like Drew Brees. You know, small guy, a lot of heart, leader. So, yeah.
How do you feel about your draft overall, Manny? I know the draft board is a little hard on it, but
I don't know why it gave me that for Francis. But I think minus that pick, I said I did a B. So for my first draft, I think I said I did pretty good.
you think Saints fans should be happy if this is the result or something close to it that you come away with in 20?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at what Brian did. Let's go through your draft, and then Manny was going to ask you about how you feel about the Saints draft. But let's go through this one so you don't have to hold the phone that whole time.
Okay.
So Denzel Boston is who you started with. They like that one. I guess they didn't really like Will Lee from Texas A&M. They didn't really like Barry Brown. But Kieran Crawford they did like. That was pretty good to draft Michael Taft, Caden Curry, and Jaden Williams. So it seems like you guys had similar drafts in that you kind of targeted the wide receiver, cornerback position, and then got some edge players to kind of round it out.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So how do you feel that you did for the Bills?
I think if the Bills did this draft in real life, I think the fans will come away excited, maybe a little upset with a few of the picks. I think they'll be very optimistic. I think Denzel Boston, Will Lee, and getting Kieran Crawford. Come on, man. I think they'd be really happy with this.
You should be really happy. Okay. And then Manny was going to ask you about how you feel about the Saints draft.
I think you did really well. I love the TJ Parker, Jeremiah Trotter additions. I really like that. Kendrick Law, Kentucky, SEC. I think we have a little bias there. I really like it. Offensive tackle, Manny, you know how it is as Saints fans. It's not sexy, but it is tradition. We do take the trenches, the big ugly.
Yeah.
So I think you did really good.
Yeah.
All right. And then lastly, again, just to review the Jaguars stage, because, technically this is Jaguars podcast. Going back to the draft, man, they really crushed me on this one. I thought I did a pretty good job. Again, Romello Height, based upon this board, it was a bit of a reach. But in my defense, I had players that I liked that I wasn't going to veer away from. And it's very important to me, to take players that fit well in your system, even if there's another guy who might have better traits or something. If you know a guy is going to fit in your system, I think that's who you take. One thing I will say I could have done better because Mason Thomas, I think, was still on the board. And I don't know if Malachi Lawrence was. I don't necessarily think I had to take Grayson Halton at 56. I could have taken one of those two and then maybe waited till 83 to see if Grayson Halton was still there and still take him. Problem was the pass rushing defensive tackles are few and far between. So it was a lot harder to find one of those than it would be to find like a good designated pass rusher. But just to review for the Jags fans, got Grayson Halton at 56, Romello Height, edge player, took Dalen Bentley, our backup tight end, got Kyle Lewis to kind of help mitigate Devin Lloyd's loss, Landon Robinson, 124, Max Llewellyn, Jaden Roberts, beefed up that, got some offensive guard depth. I just took Kalen Black because he was falling like way too far and I couldn't let him get past 166. And then took a backup quarterback in Cade Klubnik, CJ Daniels, and then Skylar Thomas to kind of round it out. So what do you guys think of my draft? What do you think? Did I reach for a couple of players, or do you understand what I was putting down there?
It seems like you were reaching a little bit, buddy.
A little bit.
You pull your draft back up.
See, the thing I was afraid of was waiting too long to take any of these guys because like I could have taken someone else at 83, but I think I would have ended up missing out on either Romello Height, Dalen Bentley, Kyle Lewis, or Landon Robinson, which are guys that I had already keyed in on before the beginning of the draft.
Gotcha. Who are your current pass rushers for your starting pass rushers for the Jaguars? Remind me.
Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, and Trayvon Walker just got extended.
Okay. I wonder
Josh
if that's why they gave you that D- for the Romello Height pick.
Probably because we already kind of have guys.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
and maybe that pick could have been better. I am surprised. You do have one, but maybe instead of that 88th pick or even the 100th pick, instead of going with those guys, maybe a running back, because you had a 1-2 punch last year, right? So you had Etienne and then right? And so now it's just Tootin kind of the main guy. And I don't know if we've seen enough of him.
Yeah, and I was of the impression that we should have kept Etienne, right? I'm trying my best to say his name right because I want to give him respect. Especially for the deal that he got, I would have much rather have drafted a cornerback to replace Monteric Brown and given that money to Travis Etienne because I think he did things that no one else has proven they could do before. I will say LaQuint Allen is very good in pass protection, and he's a good scat back. And so he was our 7th round pick last year, and he doesn't really, you probably haven't heard of him very much because all he does is pick up the blitz basically. But he can also go out for passes in a little bit. So in his first year, they had him get used to picking up the blitz. And so I think Liam Cohen will mix it up a little bit more. But I don't think there's anyone in the draft who kind of has like that home run speed like Etienne has. There's a lot of thumpers, and I think Bashal Tootin is already a thumper, and he's got explosiveness, but I think he's already got that thumping element. So being able to come away with Kalen Black out of Indiana after picking up an extra pick does make me pretty happy. Yeah. I mean, I feel better about this draft than the mock definitely does. I think the best thing I could have done, like I said, if I could have redone it, I probably would have taken Mason Thomas and then just kind of hope that Grayson Halton would have been there at 83. And I think everything else after that would have made a lot more sense.
Gotcha. Well, the beauty about all this is you could be completely right.
I might know what And then what, right? And again, the main thing is like the guys that I was targeting, I want guys we already have guys who are good against the run. I want guys who are good at getting to the pass because, as I'm sure BJ knows, that's one of the main reasons why Josh Allen went on to the divisional round and the Jaguars didn't, because we could not get him on the ground. We could not get him on the ground. So let us know your thoughts about this mock draft. Let us know, do you think these grades are accurate? Do you think who won this draft? Who may have lost it? And do you think that if your teams came away with this draft, would you be happy? I would be pretty happy if James Gladstone did this. I mean, I guess I'm probably biased, but I feel like I'd be okay. So let us know your thoughts down in the comments, and hopefully we'll have you guys on next time. Is there anything you want to leave with the people before we sign off?
Yeah, go Saints.
Go Bills.
I'll have to cut out the Go Bills part for the Jaguars fans, just because it still stings a little bit, but I can leave the Go Saints part in. That's fine. Thank you guys for joining us, and don't ever forget, it was always the Jags. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss out on any videos about the Jaguars from my channel. Check out some of these other videos that I'm sure you'll be interested in. And again, never forget, it was always the Jags.